Hello, everyone. This is Jose Luis. Can you all hear me? I see.
Yes.
Cool. Let's give 1 minute to ensure everybody's on the. We are going to start giving access to the assistants to the webinar. And we await 1 minute and we start. Okay. Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I am Jose Luis Santos, CEO of EcoStars. EcoStars is the largest certification in ESG certification for hotels in Western Europe, second at global scale, only after Winky and tied with Travel Life. In addition to that, we have a sustainability platform to match all ESG topics, going from data aggregation to certification, continuous improvement, and CSRD reporting. And we are organizing a series of webinars across different regions to cover sustainability with the leading hotel groups in each of the geographies. In this case, we count with 5 key speakers in the Mediterranean and Adriatic region and the countries surrounding the Adriatic Sea. Today's a webinar of, it will last for around 1 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes. I will later start showing you the blogs. And in the first one, the idea is to have a speaker's introduction so that each of them can tell us a little bit about who they represent, what they are doing in terms of sustainability, and so they can introduce their group. So let me start in the same order that we have in the screen with Apollonia Karampatsou, representing Mitsis, as you know, one of the leading Greek hotel chains. Then we will have Patrick Spiteri, representing Corinthia, a Maltese company and one of the key hotels in the island. Then we have Josip Tabula from Liburnia. Liburnia is one of the leading hotel and villas groups mainly in Croatia. We also have Francesco La Pietra from H&H Hospitality, one of the leading independent operators of 4 and 5 stars in Italy. And we also have with us Maria Tsidai, who is a member of SETE, the Greek Hotel Association, and also the CEO of Impacta, which is an ESG consultancy. So maybe, Apollonia, you can break the ice and we start with you.
Sure, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Apollonia Karampatsu. I'm the Group Sustainability and CSR Manager at Mits Hotels, which is the largest hotel company in Greece. And my role involves developing, executing, managing, and evaluating our comprehensive sustainability and CSR strategy, which obviously includes the implementation of ESG KPIs, policies, practices, across 24 properties in 7 destinations. And simultaneously with that, I also serve as a strategic advisor at the Center for Responsible Travel in the US.
Thank you very much, Apollonia. Patrick?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Patrick Spiteri-Staines. I'm an engineer by profession, but I work as head of sustainability for the Corinthia Group. The Corinthia has 5 hotels on the island of Malta and another 10 hotels in Europe, some beyond Europe, and now we're opening up both in North Africa and in the Middle East. We've started our sustainability journey way back in 2021, but now it has gained a lot of momentum, and in fact this year we've been working very hard because we need to report under the first wave of the CSRD regulations at the end of this year, beginning of next. So there is a lot of work that is being done on a number of sides. We are looking at impacts, risks and opportunities, double materiality, and also at the same time rolling out a new sustainability policy for the whole group.
Thank you, Patrick. Indeed, we will touch many of the topics you mentioned as CSRD today. Josip?
Hi, so I'm Josip Tabula. I'm part of the Liburnia Hotels and Villas. It's one of the largest hotel groups in Croatia. We are leading company in the Northern Adriatic. So we have 13 operative properties and 7 that are currently closed, but will be operative very soon, as far as I know. So people don't really know much about the place where my company is based. So we are based in Opatija. Opatija is a small seaside town in the north. And the interesting fact is that one of the oldest hotels on Mediterranean is part of our groupation. So that's Hotel Quarner. That hotel is operative since 1884. So that's a really interesting part about our company. Also, we are following the newest and the latest EU and Croatian regulations when it comes to sustainability. And I, as a quality manager, corporate quality manager, and board assistant, I'm pretty much involved in everything going on with that questions in our company.
Thank you, Josip. Francesco?
Thank you, Jose. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Francesco La Pietra. I'm the Group Financial Controller and also Director of Business Development of H&H Hospitality. That is a white label operator. We currently operates 16 hotels in Italy, plus 4 hotels in pipeline in the next few years. We are based in Venice, and we used to franchise our property with international brands like Hilton, IHG, Accor, Best Western. Regarding the sustainability, we started the sustainability journey in 2021 after COVID, and we did the sustainability report since 2022. Last year, we also assured the report by Bureau Veritas, and we also work with Green Key, having a certification of Green Key in 12 hotels of 16 hotels that are made up of our group. So we work both in the operation of the hotel and both in the corporate side with H&H Hospitality. Thank you.
Great to have you today, Francesco. Also, your financial hat has a lot to say in terms of sustainability.
Yeah, consider the fact, sorry, that our sustainability team is made up of 3 people. We are financial with a financial background, but obviously we have to have a contact with the technical part of the company, with HR, but the team is made up of financial in our company.
Thank you very much, Francesco. Maria?
Good afternoon to everyone. Nice to meet the co-panelists and also the people who are attending this seminar. My name is Maria Ciardi. I'm the CEO of Impacta. Not only a member of SETE, but also we have created the strategy for SETE on sustainability and currently working with DCT, the Department of Culture and Tourism of Abu Dhabi, to also make the sustainability strategy for Abu Dhabi, especially for the MICE sector, which is quite challenging, if you know about the region. We have undertaken many projects for hotel chains in Greece, strategies and reporting. And Patrick, good luck with the CSRD compliance. We are also members of the IFRAG, and we are part of working groups for the food and beverage industry now, for the sector of food and beverage. And we know the challenges, and it's not very easy. But I think, there is support from EU considering all the challenges that exist. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maria. Okay, let's go straight into the key topics to speak about today. We have the second block in which the idea is to talk about something that seems to be clear, but not that much when it comes to reality, and is what is sustainability. Everybody may have a different opinion. Ideally, we will converge on this call. But what is sustainability for each of you? And very important, what are the main KPIs that should be measured within sustainability? Here we have different representations of Greece, Maltese, Croatian groups, also the independent operator represented by H&H, and Maria as a consultant. So hopefully we can have an enrichful vision covering all these axes. I'd suggest maybe to break the ice before I started Apollonia. Maybe any of you, but maybe Patrick, you want to take the lead on this? What is sustainability for you in Corinthia, and what are the main KPIs you are monitoring?
This topic can last 5 hours, 10 hours, it depends. It's very vast. I think for us, sustainability is again based on the 3 pillars. Actually, we consider it to be 2 pillars, which is the environment and social, and it is supported by a foundation of good governance. So those are the 3 elements which sustainability is built on. Beyond just the ESG, we believe that sustainability for an organization such as ours, which is growing, but is not as big as some of the large players in the market, it's important to get value out of the role of sustainability, not just to report. And this is one of the challenges that we are seeing and we are trying to overcome. Sustainability, I think, is important also because we are seeing that not only do we need to actually take action for the planet because of the various problems we are seeing, and in the Mediterranean and Adriatic, I'm sure we are seeing a lot of problems related to climate change. Severe weather events like we've seen in the news recently, these seem to be on the increase. More severe summers and harsher winters, so more energy use with both its environmental and its costs perspectives. So these are all things that need to be tackled. There is the aspect of social, which is very important because our industry is an industry which serves people with people. So and in communities. So there are these three aspects which need to be looked at in a lot of detail. And more importantly, all this needs to be governed in a proper way to allow improvements, to allow for new technologies which are coming in the market, which can help in certain aspects.
Mhm.
With regards to the KPIs, there are many, but if I talk about the ones which are principal with regards to the environment, which would be carbon emissions, these are related to energy, and we tend to use energy per room night or per guest night as a measure for both the energy and the greenhouse gases because of the variations in fluctuations in occupancy. We also measure water and waste, waste being a very big problem to measure. We started this last year, and we hope to improve over the following years.
Mhm.
I hope I've given you some points to elaborate on. I leave it to the next speaker.
Very, very interesting. There's no doubt that energy, water, energy and at a later step CO2, water and waste are the main KPIs of environmental. Something to add? Maybe Francesco, do you want to take it?
Yeah, thank you. I'm agree with Patrick, especially when he said that in our business we work with people, and we sell experience to people. So this is what we sum up with our materiality analysis, because originally we thought that when we mention sustainability, we had to focus only on environmental. But from our point of view, from the point of view of our stakeholders, the social aspect has to be crucial, especially in this year where we have lots of issues regarding the staff, especially after COVID. So this is the reason why we started to be very focused on welfare activities regarding our employees. Our company is also certified Great Place to Work, but we started to work also in terms of KPIs regarding the social pillar of ESG, particularly in the MBOs or our hotel manager. We have also some KPIs on the training activities per FTE. That is something that we started to analyze, and obviously we also very focused, and it's easy to analyze the impact in terms of CO2 or energy per room, per guest room, and so on. But I think that we have, because of our business, we should be more focused on social. That is also a crucial aspect regarding our business.
Mhm.
And obviously, I agree also with Patrick regarding the aspect of waste, because consider the fact that in Italy we are not obliged to measure waste, because we pay waste on the surface of the building of the hotel and on the use of the spaces. I mean, you are a restaurant, you pay more than an hotel, but you pay only on the surface of the building, even though you produce 10 or 0 or 100. Okay, but now we are also also due to the fact that the Green Key asked to our hotel to be very, very focused on the measure of waste, we started to analyze it.
It's indeed a big challenge, the measurement of waste. There are some tech devices. Just in case it's of your interest, we can have a deep dive explanation, and we can tell you about this type of devices that measure waste real time, fully automated. Technology is a key lever, I think we will all agree, for improving sustainability. Maria, what impact as business consultant and ESG consultant, what are the main KPIs you look at?
First of all, for us, sustainability is a business plan, is a business strategy. It is not separate from everything else. And now the way that it is evolving, it is also part of the financial and risk part of a business, which means that it is a new way of a business plan. Now, for the hotel industry, I agree with what Patrick and Francesco said before, and I also have to include that an issue that hotels also have to deal with is biodiversity. And this is an issue that it is upcoming for the next years. The next big challenge is exactly to be able to measure and report on the effect of a business on biodiversity. And this is where hotels have to do, because they have locations near very nice areas usually, which makes it a reason for us to visit them. And also sustainable resourcing. Because sourcing eco labels, local sourcing of items, these are quite specific for the hotel industry, which makes it also very challenging.
Makes sense. And I think the CO2 scope 3, right, which partially covers this sourcing, is another of the challenges upcoming in the next years.
I will not speak about the scope 3 for any business, because I cannot find a business that it is easy to measure scope 3. I mean, food industry, okay, with long chains of supply. So scope 3 is a generic issue. I wanted only to mention some more specific difficulties and challenges for the hotel industry.
Indeed. Josip or Apollonia?
Sure, I could go next. The way we perceive sustainability is essentially how we can practice operating our hotels in a way that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, which is essentially the definition of sustainability to begin with. As it was previously mentioned, this obviously involves balancing the environmental, social, and economic responsibilities of our business in a way that ensures long-term viability while simultaneously minimizing the negative impacts. And more specifically for hotels, this translates into, first, reducing the environmental footprint. Second, as Maria said, conserving the natural resources and biodiversity, as well as supporting local communities and ensuring fair and ethical business practices across all operations. And it's great that you have included the question about KPIs, because you cannot change what you cannot measure. KPIs should be the foundation in this journey. And for environmental efforts, I do agree. I think Patrick mentioned it, that carbon footprint, which essentially quantifies the greenhouse gas emissions and aligns the property with global net zero goals, is probably one of the best indicators. And this, of course, includes the energy consumption, the water usage, the waste generation, etc. Two additional KPIs I would add for environmental efforts would be renewable energy use as a percentage of the proportion of energy that is sourced from renewable sources like solar or wind. And then going back to what Maria mentioned, sustainable sourcing, right? The percentage of products, whether that's food or toiletries, that is purchased from eco-certified suppliers. For social efforts, which are extremely important in the hotel industry, A good KPI can be local community investment, whether that is in a monetary term or a percentage of revenue, in order to track the contributions to local communities. And this can include, for example, hiring locally or supporting local suppliers or community programs. And then two additional KPIs that we have implemented are women in leadership positions as a percentage in order to evaluate the gender equality in professional development, and then employee satisfaction, which really assesses how employees are engaged and whether there is workplace well-being. I would also argue that we can measure some economic KPIs in the context of sustainability. An example of that would be the cost savings that derive from sustainability. So what are the financial benefits from energy, water, and waste reduction initiatives? And if your hotel offers green programs like ecotourism packages or carbon offset programs or sustainable events, for example, a KPI could also be the percentage of revenue from green programs that tracks the income that is generated from sustainability initiatives as a fraction of the total revenue generated by your activities. And then, of course, we can track the progress in terms of sustainability certifications achieved. So what is our progress in attaining certifications like EcoStars, like Green Key, Travel Life, etc.? And then to conclude, I would say for governance, two of the most important sustainability KPIs for hotels would be compliance with regulations as a percentage in order to ensure that we are adhering to local and international sustainability laws. And then an important one is also sustainability training for staff. So what percentage of our employees are trained on sustainability practices?
Thank you very much, Apollonia. Very comprehensive. Mainly, something you mentioned for me is critical. You cannot change what you cannot measure. Indeed, that's why the KPIs are so important, and we have started with this. So very, very nice quote. Josip?
It's hard to talk when you're the last one. So I have to agree mostly with Apollonia. I think she said probably everything that is applicable to my company too. So let's say those KPIs that are standard, like energy consumption, water usage, waste management, and so on. So we were tracking them even before these new standards because that's directly connected to business. So that's not something new, but we always try to improve as much as we can, and we also try to stay in touch with the technologies at the moment, because technologies are our greatest friend when it comes to sustainability and tracking, especially consumption and waste management. Next, what is the most important after the financial part, after the business part, is community of our company. So our company is our company is based in one place, and we have 20 objects in 40 kilometers. So it's one point, and we have to invest heavily in our community, because majority of staff of employees come from our neighborhood. So those are our friends, family, neighbors, and so on. So the first thing is to measure financial and in-kind contribution to local communities, so that we have, after all, great employee satisfaction. And after the employee satisfaction, we can talk about improvements on KPIs. I always say when they are happy to work somewhere, you can do anything you want. So you can teach them about new things. They will also accept every kind of training. So that's the main KPI if you ask me, when it comes to non-financial things. Also, biodiversity impact, as Maria said, that's something for the future, and we can see the impact that was done in the last 10, 20, 30 years, especially when it comes to locations that are directly on sea. So there are a lot of problems, I think, in every Mediterranean country with landscape and so on. So that's one of we could talk just about that for a few hours. And after that is also sustainable procurement. So we try as much as we can to, let's say, source our, especially food, from our local sources. And that is also connected to the community investment I was already talking about. So that would be it for me. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Josip. Indeed, after the masterclass from Apollonia, Francesco, Patrick, and Maria, it was difficult to add beyond. But let's move to the next block for the sake of time. As I think Patrick mentioned, we could be in the second block for 3 hours. But for the sake of time, you have already mentioned some certifications. Actually, Francesco took it as one of the KPIs they are monitoring. But in your point of view, what is the impact of sustainability certifications? Have you really seen that customers choose more your hotels, or if not choose more, at least you see an impact on non-bookings decreasing because of having a sustainability certification now that they are displayed in Booking.com, Google, in the TMCs? Do you think is more relevant for the leisure traveler or for the corporate travel? So thoughts on how the customers are impacted by sustainability. Anybody wants to break the ice on this one?
If you want, I can start. I can share our experience. As I told you before, we have 12 hotels out of 16 that are certified Green Key, and this was done especially for a commercial reason. I mean, especially for RFP and other needs from corporate demand. I think that we have to share between corporate and leisure. From our point of view, corporate, especially the big corporate that used to travel in our business hotel, are becoming more strong in terms of demand of certification. This is something that we started to monitor. So if you have a certification, your corporate customer choose your hotel. This is corporate demand. While leisure demand, from our point of view, is not so demanding in terms of certification. I mean, if you are a green hotel, if you have a certification, yes, it's okay, but it's not. This is the reason why you can have a stronger ADR, or you can have a boost in terms of performance with the leisure part of the demand. But obviously, in any case, from our point of view, you should be very coherent and consistent from what you have said, especially if you have a certification. So the coherence, especially for sustainability, especially for our guests, is something that you have to consider, and I think from our point of view, it should be mandatory because you are selling something that you have to respect and be very consistent about it.
Very aligned with the global opinion, Francesco. Corporate travel may be more conscious or demanding more sustainability at this point in time, and leisure nice to have, maybe to say it that way. Apollonia, we see a beach behind you, so you can tell us what leisure travel thinks about sustainability certifications.
I would say something that has been very interesting to observe is that as time goes by, we do see that leisure travelers are also more and more inclined to ask questions, provide feedback in terms of certifications. But something I want to emphasize is that other than the commercial impact of certifications, which obviously is very important because at the end of the day, we're all businesses. I do want to emphasize that sustainability certifications have a profound impact on environmental preservation, social development, and economic resilience. And the main reason for this is that certifications truly provide a very structured framework and roadmaps for hotels to adopt and measure sustainability practices. And especially with the more rigorous certification, this process really involves a detailed set of criteria and a comprehensive checklist of actions that the property must implement to qualify. So this structured approach is especially valuable, I would say, for smaller hotels because they might find the sustainability landscape to be overwhelming and they might lack a clear starting point. So by offering a step-by-step guide, certifications really help decode and make it accessible to all. I just wanted to make sure that we emphasize this because, yes, there is a commercial aspect to it, but I also want to make sure that we address the essence that sustainability certifications offer in terms of value to hotel properties. And address the second part of your question in terms of why would a customer choose a hotel with a green certification over one without. It really goes back to the fact that today's travelers are increasingly aware of their environmental and social impact. So first of all, it really creates, in terms of trust and credibility, green certifications can act as a seal of approval. And they do provide assurance that the hotel has undergone rigorous evaluations and adheres to global sustainability standards. There's often, we see that a lot with leisure travelers, there's an alignment with personal values as well. Many guests prioritize sustainability in their decision-making, so choosing a certified hotel allows them to support eco-friendly practices and really aligning their stay with their values. And I would also argue that in many cases, certified hotels offer a more meaningful experience, such as access to locally sourced and organic food or a unique ecotourism activity or well-maintained and sustainable facilities. So they ensure that comfort exists, but without compromising the environmental integrity of it. So at the end of the day, sustainability certifications can really enhance customer satisfaction, and this obviously translates into the commercial aspect as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Apollonia. Maybe Josip or Patrick?
Should I?
Or of course.
We will allow Josip to, so he won't be the last.
You can do it, Patrick. I'm younger.
In your hand.
Okay, so it's me after all. Okay, so when it comes to the reason why would customers choose certified hotels, well, I would say that transparency is one of the main reasons, because when you have a certificate, it means that you have some kind of a certification that validates the claims of sustainability and of your business. So you're building a trust with customer, and that's especially in these times, that's pretty important. Also, when it comes to the wellness tourism and so on, that's especially popular in my company. In winter times, there are a lot of guests that are involved in the offer when it comes to health and safety. And usually when you have some kind of certificate, that means that not just sustainable practices are on the better level than in the other properties, but it's also about the healthier environment. So usually hotels that have some kind of certificate, they don't have, I don't know, dirty wellness areas and so on. So you know what you're paying for. That should be a standard for certificate users, and I think majority of them are following that trail. And when it comes to impact on the business, it's easiest to see that in some kind of revenue increase, cost savings, and so on. But that's part of the business, and after all, we are here because of that. So that would be all for me.
Patrick, Malta is a leisure destination mainly, but I think the MICE is increasing and corporate travelers are going there more and more.
Malta is primarily a leisure destination, but since we are very much in the southern part of Europe, there is a lot of business and corporate business that like to come here in winter because they get the sun in winter. So we have a mix of both, like many hotels, and some hotels in other jurisdictions have maybe I would say a good percentage of corporate business but leisure is always the largest one. Like everyone else before me, corporate business were the first sector that started requiring certifications. But we see an increased demand for certification from the leisure business as well. And the leisure business is one where I would say the highest demand comes from the younger age of leisure customers and guests, because they are more aware and they are more in tune with the problems of climate change. And so there is also the I would say difference in demographics with regards to how people perceive co-certification of hotels. However, the demand is increasing in both, and I believe that it is a must to have your hotels certified to be able to continue to operate properly in the future.
Very good point, Patrick. The age, the younger customers demanding more and more sustainability, that's a trend, undoubtedly. Maria, from a consultancy side, how do you perceive this? The certifications are important, more for corporate, more for leisure, more for younger people, as Patrick was pointing out?
As a consultant, we of course support certifications because it is a way to ascertain that what you are doing, a third party actually says that you're doing it correctly. Now, it was mentioned before about the health and safety of the employees, but getting these certifications usually, they also include healthness overall, means better, improve their quality, or reduction of harmful chemicals, or organic food offerings, which means that actually the hotels, should also explain what these certifications provide to the consumers. That, exactly because we are certified, somebody has made certain that we provide all this to you. And also cost savings. This is another thing, because usually green hotels, once they undertake all these green initiatives, eventually they are going to have cost cuttings, which means that these cost savings can be passed to the customers as a way of getting to a better environment at a lower cost. This, for me, is something that hotel managers and hotel owners should invest a lot on, educating travelers why they should choose certified hotels versus non-certified hotels, and not certified hotels on ESG generic, certified hotels by certifications for the hotel industry, which are very specific. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Let's move to the fourth block. Only 2 more blocks remaining. Then we will have a space for Q&A in case we receive questions from the audience. So 2 more blocks we have, one more interesting than the other in my point of view, and not necessarily interesting mean less important. So first one is the regulation, the CSRD. I think every of us working in the travel industry, in the sustainability industry, and specifically in travel, this is something we are looking for. So how do you perceive the increasing regulation that will come from the CSRD, from the European directives? Anyone wants to start?
I can start on that. So yes, we do see in the region a significant shift towards enhanced ESG regulations, and I'm glad that CSRD is part of our discussion because it will change everything. It truly includes aiming to standardize ESG reporting essentially and making it comparable and reliable across industries. And what is unique about it is that we see a transition from voluntary sustainability reporting to mandatory sustainability reporting and standardized disclosures. And obviously, this compliance will require systematic data collection, analysis, and reporting processes to meet the directive's requirements. Some suggestions from my experience on how hotels can prepare for these regulations include really assessing the current ESG practices. So start by conducting a thorough evaluation of the existing sustainability initiatives, and in doing so, also identify the areas that need improvements to meet the new regulatory standards. And then the most important part of this is to really implement a robust data management system that accurately tracks and reports ESG metrics, such as the ones we mentioned before. In this process, I think one of the most key elements will be stakeholder engagement. So really collaborate with the employees, the guests, the suppliers, and of course the local communities to foster this culture of sustainability and ensure comprehensive, I would say, ESG integration. And then another advice would also be to seek expert guidance. Hire Maria, consult ESG professionals or legal advisors to really help you understand the specific regulatory requirements in order to develop these effective compliance strategies, because this can be a very overwhelming process and external help can be of use.
Mitzi seems to be well prepared and looking forward for next year. What about you, Francesco? You see, Patrick?
I'm agree with Apollonia when she said that standardization is something that is to be done, because from our point of view, currently, especially in these years, we receive different kind of ESG analysis, ESG reporting. I mean, bank, other stakeholder like brand chains or corporate clients and so on. So I think that it's necessary to have a more standardized structure that should be followed by every hotel. Another aspect of our industry, especially in the Italian market, is the fragmentation. I mean, when you mention how can hotels prepare for regulatory changes, especially in the Italian market, our market is very fragmented. The panelists of this webinar represents some company that have a structure, that have people that are very focused on ESG. But consider the hotels that don't have any structure. I mean, both in financial or in technical department. So this is something that we have to face on, and also the support of advisors from our point of view has to be crucial in order to be consistent with this aspect, these themes.
Thank you, Francesco.
If I may, I agree with everything that has been said. Our experience, because we are a listed company, considered a large company within the EU, and therefore we are in the first wave of reporting. I think the best word so far I've heard is the word overwhelming. The standards are overwhelming. They are not only standards, but they also describe the process that you need to do to arrive at what you need to report on, known as the double materiality. But before you start your double materiality, you have to identify all your environmental impacts and all your financial risks and opportunities. That in itself is an exercise which is massive. I think that I can talk about the good and the bad. The good is that this brings standardization in a market, maybe where people were using sustainability as a marketing tool. The bad is that it is very onerous, it is complex. You definitely will need external support. You need to dedicate resources, both financial and people resources. And my fear is that once you're doing this, you will have no energy and no resources left to actually do good sustainability actions. So as someone who is going to the middle of this, my complaint is it is good to have standardized reporting, but it is a big tax on the business. A big tax for resources and costs, which then you are wondering, where am I going to have enough energy and enough people left to actually do positive actions? And I think it is a big jump. I believe it is too much of a big jump for a lot of the smaller companies out there. I agree with Francesco. It is a very big jump. And our auditors, we are discussing with the auditors, and this is something that maybe not all of you know, that the regulations require a limited assurance by auditors. Our auditors are telling us that our sustainability report will be as big as our financial report. Just to give people a perspective on how complex that is. The financial reports which today are generated have been evolving over the last 10, 15 years. In 1 year, we go from practically a very simple voluntary report under the NFRD regulations to an extremely complex report. It is a big step.
Indeed, Patrick, you are aware of what's coming. I recall the first time I heard XBRL reporting, and hopefully it's not the first time you hear it today. So many things to do. You have mentioned double materiality, next data points, KPIs to be reported, what is before double materiality, then reporting the different formats, including XBRL. So it's going to be a huge issue indeed. We have developed a tool for managing this complexity, although it will take a lot of time and effort, as you mentioned, from any department, either if it's done in-house or if it's supported by tools like EcoStars or any other. Maria, from Impacta, you are giving a solution to Greek or beyond Greece hotels for CSRD?
CSRD now it's for the European region only. Other countries, I have to say that they consider, but this is why they are actually now considering more IFRS because it is simpler. And as Patrick said, this double materiality actually makes it quite heavy. What I have to say, though, is that when you look at the big picture on what the European Union is trying actually to do is, in a way, enforce companies to do this double materiality in order to do the risk analysis which is necessary for them to be prepared for a climate change. And we have seen lately in Valencia, in Spain, we see every summer what is happening with the fires. So we know that this climate change actually is going to be so massive. And when it occurs, it is massive, which means that companies and organizations have to be financially prepared for that. So this is the reason why sustainability is under the finance department. It becomes as complicated as the financial analysis, exactly because you have to assess the risks, see how much it is actually going to cost you to mitigate them or adapt to that so as to take actions. And should the risk occurs, whether you have the cash flow, let's say, in order to be able to support. Because the next day after a disaster, who is going to pay for that? The European Union, the local banks, the insurance companies. This is massive. So yes, I will agree with Patrick that it is indeed very complicated, even for the bigger companies. So imagine about the small, medium companies where, of course, Europe says, I'm not going to demand so many data points to be provided. So tools, various tools are going to, like EcoStars, are going to help in that. But overall, this is the general concept of Europe. It makes sense, but in the meantime, it makes it very hard as well. And we are not accustomed to that. We don't know about ESG risks and opportunities. We know about financial risks and opportunities. We are more accustomed to that, operational risks and opportunities. But sustainability risks and opportunities, it is a new concept. So it makes it hard.
I think we could be 4 hours speaking about the new CSRD coming. But for the sake of time, let's move to the last topic for today, which is a potential solution or ally to reporting and sustainability, which is the technology. Here we have mentioned IoT and AI. IoT especially for monitoring real-time energy, water, waste, fuel, and other type of metrics at hotel level. Fully automated with IoT technologies, you know them. And second is the artificial intelligence wave that we have. Probably artificial intelligence helping to interpret data, tabulate, and later on maybe produce sustainability reports and help with CSRD compliance. I have 2 questions for you. The first one is how you see this technology. Is a threat? I guess IoT not that much, but maybe artificial intelligence you consider a threat. That's the first question. The second is, are you already applying this type of technologies in your groups or in your hotels? Anybody wants to start?
I start if you want. In our company, we use technology, obviously, especially for monitoring consumption of the hotel. In the most energy demand hotel, we started to monitor the consumption of every plants and also of the area of business of the hotel. So we have the pie of the consumption, and we are able to split it between different departments. And this also helped us to make our head of departments more responsible in terms of the use of energy in their departments. Another point that are crucial from our point of view is the workflow, especially in terms of the sustainability reporting. What I mean, in our organization, we have the sources of the information for the sustainability reports come from different departments: HR, technical, finance, legal. Our sustainability team has to put it together, but the collection of the information now is done from our department, from our team, and it's not so automatized. I mean, if we are looking at some new tools that works with a workflow where every department, HR, technical, hotel manager, has has some tasks, and that shall be done until a period of time. That is something that we are working on in the next few years. Another point from our point of view that is crucial is the Scope 3 analysis. Why? Because our supply chain is very fragmented. We have different suppliers that are very different in terms of values, but also in terms of knowledge of ESG. So a tool or something that can help us to be more consistent with Scope 3 is something that we are going to explore in the next few years.
Thank you, Francesco. Somebody else can tell us or have implemented IoT or are monitoring real-time energy, water, waste consumption?
I could go next. I definitely agree with Francesco that technology plays a crucial role in ESG management because it really offers these solutions to optimize operations and address all the challenges we're facing in an efficient way. I agree with you that the main benefit of IoT is this real-time tracking and optimization of energy use. This is something that we have implemented for water, for waste. And I would also add that IoT can be used in automating smart guest rooms in a way that lowers energy consumption, which is very important. In terms of AI, and going back to your initial question of whether we see it as a threat, I would say that AI presents a tremendous opportunity. There really isn't an area of hotel operations that I can think of where AI does not have an application. From predictive maintenance to carbon footprint analysis and ESG reporting, as Francesco mentioned, and sustainability supply chain decisions, which are extremely important. These are all examples of areas that AI has an impact, and we have started incorporating it into our operations. And I would also add that AI can even be used in personalizing guest experiences to promote more eco-friendly and sustainable choices. So Overall, I would say that technologies, whether that's IoT or AI, really help and support data-driven decision-making. They streamline the reporting process, which is extremely helpful. And of course, they help reduce the environmental footprint as well as engage both our employees and our guests, ensuring we have this operational efficiency and alignment with our ESG goals.
Thank you, Apollonia. Something to add, Josip, Patrick, Maria?
Yes, I agree. I see AI as a tremendous opportunity. It helps all areas of the hospitality business. Even, I mean, earlier we mentioned the problem of waste. We are utilizing an AI system to measure food waste. It's a trial, but we are to measure food waste in one of our restaurants. And with camera recognition, it would be impossible to do this without AI. AI also useful for reducing the amount of resources necessary to monitor and to keep tab of all the information that needs to be gathered. So I'm in agreement with my predecessors that IoT and AI are very important tools, and there are other technologies out there which I believe in the future will become very important to help us achieve a better hospitality experience for our customers by reducing our environmental footprint and increasing our level of engagement with employees and customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Josip, Maria, something to say on technology?
When it comes to IoT and artificial intelligence, at the moment, in my company, at the moment, we don't use it as much as we should. As it was said, you can use it everywhere, so you can do anything with that, and I think it's a major step in right direction, especially in times when the market changes year by year. So you can do things with AI you can't do with the biggest team you have. When it comes to current implementations, we rely mostly on smart automation of the hotels, especially when it comes to heating, lighting, and so on. So possibilities that you can turn the heating on off based on floor, on parts of the floor, and so on, and the technology that controls it from, let's say, main computer. So the next step would be if you could implement AI in that kind of a system to have real-time changes on day basis to reduce unnecessary usage of energy. I'll keep it short, that's it.
Okay, we have a few questions that have received, so we can keep them for the block 6, and then we close. So let me read you some of them. The first one is, what do you see as the biggest challenge when adopting a technology to measure and track ESG metrics? Okay, so biggest challenge when adopting technology. Any of you have an answer to this one?
I would like to answer that because we collaborate with many different, as consultants, we see clients of all types and, all variabilities. I believe that one of the biggest challenge altogether is the cost, the initial cost that you need to invest in all the systems. Actually, you know, many people, they say, yes, we need to have technology to measure and track. And then when they see the cost, this is why it is very interesting that so many startups today, more and more, they are providing solutions. And of course, another issue is that many of these systems, sometimes they are not very, how can I say, they have a limited customization capacity. And again, consider that, okay, you are in the hotel industry, but each hotel has different requests in many cases. So for me, this is the challenge. Otherwise, it is imperative that you have a system to gather these metrics. And this is a cost that has to be not only considered, it has to be forecasted, budgeted, and eventually for any company to actually proceed with the purchase of such a system.
Indeed, good point, Maria. Somebody else, any challenge to the implementation of this technology?
Pardon me?
Apart from the cost, as mentioned by Maria.
I do want to emphasize the point that Maria made. Cost is definitely a big issue. Generally speaking, balancing profit and purpose is a challenge for sustainability in general. As in many cases, and this is especially evident with technology, there is a high initial cost associated with the initiative, or the investment might be unprofitable in the short term, and this oftentimes creates resistance in adoption. An additional challenge I would add is the need for employee mindset shift and engagement when we introduce new technologies, and generally speaking, when we introduce new sustainability initiatives, because oftentimes there is a challenge associated with employees being used to doing things in a certain way. And when this is changed, it might create resistance and difficulty to implement.
Very good point as well, Apollonia. The transition to a data-driven decision-making and integrating data at the core of companies is not easy indeed. Okay, let's go to the second question and the in-principle final for today. Do you see value on having industry working groups to bring standards at an industry level to tackle ESG challenges? So, your opinion on ESG working groups for standards?
I think. Sorry, Maria, I leave it to you. Ladies first.
Just a small comment. As Patrick said before, it is already very complicated. And already you have a regulation, you know, you have now a legal responsibility. Having working groups around setting up other standards, it makes it even more complicated. Consider that the European Union today, what it says is that they are going to set up the questions that big companies will ask in their supply chain companies, smaller supply chain companies, exactly because if you are a small supplier, if you are a small hotel, and still you have, for example, or a big hotel, you can be Corinthia Hotel, and then you have Nestlé, Microsoft, and Unilever saying, you know, we're going to have retreats in Malta, and we're going to choose you, but you have to answer this set of questions. So already the European Union said, no, you are not going to drive crazy Mitsis Hotel and Corinthia Hotel by asking all this set of questions and having people answering that. It's going to be very specific, the questionnaires that you are going to receive. If on top of that you have working group about setting up standards, in my opinion, it makes it even more complicated. At any case, the European Union is going to have a working group for the industry sector, as it has for other sectors currently. This is my opinion. Patrick, thank you very much, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, not at all. What you are saying is very correct. I agree with you. In fact, I'm involved in a working group of the EU Commission for measuring the greenhouse gas footprint of a room night or of a guest night. And it is quite a complex thing. What I was going to say, rather than working groups for standards, I believe there should be working groups for sharing of information, sharing of experiences, sharing of experiences using technologies or using different solutions, and also to allow for sharing of various experiences related to, for instance, the CSRD. This, I think, will be very helpful because although there is a lot of work that can be done with consultants, when you hear another hotel and their experiences, this is very helpful, especially to the SMEs when they hear how they can tackle certain difficulties and certain problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's finalize with a last-minute question, and I think after this one we close. I know we have already talked about commercialization, marketing of sustainability when we spoke about certifications, but just in case something else to add, the question is marketing beneficial when it comes to sustainability, or sustainability and marketing do not mix well?
I could answer that first. I would say, obviously, strategic communication and marketing of the work that is being done is an important component in terms of ensuring that stakeholders, not just guests, all stakeholders are aware of the efforts that are taking place. I would say, though, that we do need to be very mindful of greenwashing. We want to make sure that everything we communicate is balanced, is transparent, and is accurate. We want to make sure that we don't overemphasize or make false claims in terms of the initiatives that are taking place on our property. And the other thing I would also like to point out is that there also needs to be a balance between communication and education and overly communicating efforts, in the sense that, yes, we do want to make sure that guests and other stakeholders are aware of what we're doing, but we don't want to make it in a way that we lecture them or we over emphasize things. So these are two different aspects of the same issue. We do need to approach it in a very balanced and accurate way, but obviously marketing and communication is also a significant aspect of sustainability efforts. However, these should be the cherry on top rather than the driving force for the work that is being done.
Very good response, Apollonia, and very aligned with you. Probably greenwashing is the red line that separates sustainability than marketing that is even harmful. So let me close with this, and thank you again to Apollonia from Mitsis, Patrick from Corinthia, Josip from Liburnia, Francesco from H&H, and Maria from Impacta and Sete. And it was a very nice conversation. Very glad to have different countries represented. So thank you again, and hope to see you in the next webinar.